Press the brake pedal in a modern car and several things may happen before the vehicle slows down. A sensor detects the pedal movement. Electronics convert that physical movement into an electrical value. Software reads the value, checks whether it is believable, combines it with information such as wheel speed and vehicle motion, and then calculates what the system should do. Finally, an actuator creates a physical result. The complete process can happen repeatedly in a fraction of a second. That sequence reveals the basic idea behind automotive embedded software. A modern car is not controlled by one giant program. It contains many electronic systems, each designed to perform a limited set of vehicle functions. These systems monitor the physical world, process information, make decisions, and control physical devices. The word embedded means that the computing system is built into a larger product and serves a specific purpose. A laptop is a general-purpose computer because you can install many unrelated applications. A control unit inside a car is different. Its hardware and software are designed around defined responsibilities, such as operating the wipers, controlling the engine, managing the battery, moving a power window, or monitoring the airbag system. Let us follow one simple example: automatic headlamp control. A light sensor measures the brightness outside the vehicle. The sensor does not decide whether the headlamps should switch on. It only detects a physical condition and produces information that electronics can read. Depending on the sensor design, that information may be an analog voltage, a digital value, or a message sent through a communication interface. The information reaches an electronic control unit, or ECU. For now, treat an ECU as a specialized embedded computer inside the vehicle. We will examine its hardware in the next lesson. Inside the ECU, a microcontroller executes software instructions stored in memory. The software may run a control function at regular intervals. It reads the brightness value and checks whether the input is valid. A single reading should not always trigger an immediate decision. If the car passes briefly under a bridge, switching the lights on and then off again may be unnecessary. The software can therefore use a threshold, a delay, or filtering logic. For example, it may decide that the environment must remain dark for 2 seconds before requesting the headlamps. This is an important distinction. Software does not directly see darkness. It receives data that represents darkness. The developer defines how that data is interpreted and what conditions must be satisfied before an output is requested. After making the decision, the software produces a command. That command may pass through output circuitry or another control unit before it reaches the headlamp system. The final physical device that carries out the command is called an actuator. Motors, valves, relays, lamps, pumps, and solenoids are common actuator examples. In our case, the headlamp electronics cause the lamps to illuminate. The full path is therefore sensor, input electronics, ECU software, output electronics, and actuator. Information travels into the controller while a command travels out. The physical result can then change what the sensors observe, creating a feedback loop. Consider electric power steering. A torque sensor measures how strongly the driver turns the steering wheel. Software evaluates that signal together with vehicle speed and other information. It calculates the required steering assistance, and an electric motor provides the physical force. At low speed, more assistance may be useful. At high speed, the control strategy may request less assistance. The software is not merely switching a device on or off. It is continuously calculating an output from changing inputs. Automotive software must also deal with abnormal conditions. What happens if a sensor value suddenly jumps outside its allowed range? What if two related signals disagree? What if a communication message does not arrive on time? A robust system does not blindly trust every input. It may perform range checks, timing checks, plausibility checks, and fault handling. The exact safety measures depend on the vehicle function, project requirements, and safety analysis. Timing is equally important. A headlamp controller may tolerate a relatively slow response, but motor control, braking, and steering functions can require tightly controlled execution. The correct calculation performed too late can still be the wrong system behavior. This is why automotive embedded systems often use real-time software. Real-time does not simply mean extremely fast. It means that required operations must complete within defined timing constraints. Different ECUs also exchange information. A wheel speed value measured in one part of the car may be useful to braking, stability, powertrain, and driver information functions. Vehicle networks allow control units to communicate without connecting every source to every destination. Later in this course, we will trace how such information moves through communication stacks and network protocols. At this stage, remember that software is only one part of the control system. Sensors must measure correctly, electronics must condition and convert signals, the microcontroller must execute the program, communication must deliver required data, and output stages must provide sufficient electrical power. Actuators must create the intended physical action. Mechanical and electrical behavior must match the assumptions used by the software. A useful model is sense, decide, act, and verify. Sense means collecting information from the vehicle or environment. Decide means processing that information according to programmed logic. Act means commanding a physical output, and verify means checking the result, the system status, or any available feedback. Not every function implements these steps in exactly the same way, but the model helps you analyze many automotive systems. If an interviewer asks how software controls a vehicle function, do not answer only "the ECU runs code." Start with the complete chain. Explain that sensors convert physical conditions into usable signals, the ECU software processes those inputs according to requirements and timing constraints, and actuator driving hardware converts the software command into physical action. Then mention diagnostics, communication, and feedback where relevant. Now return to the brake pedal example from the beginning. A physical world produces an input. Electronics make that input available to a controller. Software interprets it, checks it, and calculates a response. Hardware drives an actuator. The vehicle changes its behavior. That is how software moves from lines of code to real motion, light, pressure, heat, or sound. But one major block is still hidden inside this explanation. We have repeatedly used the term ECU without opening it. In the next lesson, we will examine what an electronic control unit actually contains, how its hardware sections work together, and why it is more than just a microcontroller in a box.